Today we're going to be changing the oil in a 2007 Honda Accord. First thing is pull the parking brake. It's the first thing you want to do. Changing the oil. And open the hood, which is right here in this model Accord. Now that we've opened the hood, the hood stand up. As you can see there, it's not focusing well. Next thing to do is jack up the passenger side of the car. It doesn't really matter, you can jack up the driver or the passenger. I'm going to look for this right here. This piece of metal sticking down, that's the jack point. Next you want to put a jack stand under the car, just for safety. Just jack up the car enough to put that stand under it so you can reach the oil pan bolt and the oil filter. Next you're going to want to make sure you have oil filter. This is just a cheap one. A few shop towels or paper towels will do, and 520 motor oil. This takes 4.5 quarts. If you forget, it says right there on the cap, 520 weight. You're also going to need an oil catch pan and a ratchet with a 17mm socket. This is a deep socket, but a standard one will fit. Now, when you go to use your ratchet, make sure you have it on loosen, which is over to the left. Let's see. That would be tighten. That's loosen. Make sure you have it clicked over to the left, and so you don't strip out the oil pan bolt, and then you would have to get either an oil pan or a thread repair kit, and that can get time consuming, I know. We're going to take our wrench under here. You can see the oil pan bolt is right here. Right there. And the transmission is going to be, if you're facing the bumper of the car, it's going to be on the right side. The engine oil pan is going to be on the left. And the oil pan bolt is on the rear side of the oil pan. Alright, I've got that loosened. 17mm. If I didn't already say that. That nut loosened, that bolt. Next thing you want to do is get your oil catch pan. Bring that under. I know I don't have a lot of room under there. I've done this a bunch of times, and I already know what I'm doing on this vehicle, but you may want to jack the vehicle up higher if this is your first time. You get the oil catcher under there and let it drain out for several minutes till it starts dripping or the stream becomes very small. Alright, well that's draining out. We're gonna look at the oil filter. Now, make sure you have the correct oil filter for your vehicle. On this vehicle, you can reach the oil filter from standing on the passenger side. I probably can't see it, but if you reach down on the passenger side of the heat shield for the exhaust manifold, you will be able to feel the oil filter. Just about at the end of the manifold. Let's see if we can get this in there. So the oil filter is, well, can't really see it, but you're looking at it down there. You can reach that from the passenger side of the vehicle. You can do it from underneath also. I think it's easier from the top. You can use your hand. You can use an oil wrench. I got this at Harbor Freight for about $6. You can use a band wrench, which you'll just loosen this, or that is, you'll put it around there, and it tightens up to pull the filter off. It also swivels. Now there's a large one. This car would need the smaller one if you go to Advance Auto or AutoZone. I think that's where I got these. It's been a while. These are good when you don't have a lot of space to get the oil filter out. This one gets changed regularly though, so I can actually do it with just my hand. You'll probably want to wipe off your oil pan bolt before you go to reinstall it. Get all the oil off of it. And when you reinstall it, you make very, very sure you don't over tighten it or cross the threads. You never use power tools installing one of these. Install it by hand to start with, and once the threads are started, use the wrench. You only need about medium strength to install one of these. You don't need to tighten it down super hard or you strip it out, and then you will need the thread repair kit, which is not fun. And so we're going to reinstall this bolt now. Alright, we've got the oil pan bolt back on. Now you're going to want to position your oil catch pan. I don't know if you can see that under the steering rack there. For when you remove this filter, it's going to leak some oil. So we're going to pull this filter out now. And you want to turn it towards the driver's side if you're coming from the top. So you're going to want to turn it that way. Once you have the old filter removed, you just want to take some oil and put it on the new gasket. And this will keep you from getting stuck next time you want to uninstall it or change your oil filter. Just take some oil, rub it on there, and you'll install your new oil filter. Alright, now when you go to install your new filter, you only want to install it hand tight. There. You don't want to install it with a wrench because you may bend it or over tighten it. Install it hand tight, almost as tight as you can, not quite. You shouldn't be able to break it if you're installing it with your hand. Make sure it's not too loose and it's nice and snug on there, and then you're ready to fill the car with oil. Next thing to do once you've installed your oil pan bolt and your oil filter is to remove the drain pan, remove the jack stand and the jack so it's nice and level when you go to fill it with new oil. You remove the engine oil cap, put your funnel in, and you want to pour about this engine should take 4.5 quarts with a filter change. You want to pour about 4 quarts in and then check it on the dipstick and then fill it up the rest of the way. Alright, now we've poured 4 quarts in. You can go ahead and pour all 4.5 quarts in, or whatever your service manual calls for, but a better way to do it is pour it mostly in and then check on the dipstick and make sure you're going to get it exact. Now you pull the dipstick out, wipe it off. You're going to stick it back in, and what you're looking for is for the oil to be at the second hole right there. The bottom hole means it's 1/2 quart low. I believe that's right. Now you can get away with 1/2 quart low and 1/2 quart high, but any more than that and you risk some engine damage. So we're going to, now that we wipe this off, we're going to stick it back in and get our engine oil level reading. So, I don't know if you can see that there. That oil level is just about 3/4 of a quart low. And when you do this, you definitely want to make sure the car or the vehicle is on a flat surface, so your reading is going to be correct. So we're going to add about 1/2 quart more, which is what it should be. You always want to check on the dipstick before you finish and when you're done. Make sure the level is going to be correct for the engine. I've gone ahead and poured another half a quart in. I already checked the dipstick again. It is exactly at the second hole up, which is exactly where you want it to be. Now, if you don't know how much oil you've poured in, a lot of the jugs will have some way to measure how much oil is left in there. If you don't know how much oil is left in there, you can always stop and pull the dipstick out and check it. That never hurts. You just want to make sure you don't over or underfill your engine. And this 2007 Accord takes 4.5 quarts with a filter change. This has been changing oil in a 2007 Accord. Last two things to do are put your hood down and don't forget to undo your parking brake. Thank you for watching. Guess that's it.